move forward on it.
Is that sufficient?
I'd like to make a motion to move forward with bond counsel.
That's
the
correct.
presentation this evening of PFM.
Financial advisor.
Yeah,
Financial.
financial advisor.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Nope.
Any
There's
questions?
Oh, I'm
Any-
sorry. I didn't understand.
Is there any more comments or have anything to say?
Questions?
Questions?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Did you send me a final copy of your?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I
thank
can.
you.
Yeah.
Is that helpful?
Thank you.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you guys. Sorry for taking so long.
Sorry, we'll deduct it later.
I'll be back.
Was this a dinner flight or was it just?
All right. Moving forward.
Oh, no, thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Take care, buddy. Have a good night.
I need a motion for approval of the June 26th meeting minutes.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Correspondence. I have a couple items of correspondence. Resignation from Linda Jansen from the Board of Auditors. You have Upper Salford Volunteer Fire Company asking for assistance of fire police on October 13th, 2018. Upper Salford Volunteer Fire Company, fire police September 8th. Upper Salford Township for special fire police for June 12th. That was probably old. And August 16th for Upper Salford Volunteer Fire Company for the use of the fire police.
Now, are the police gonna respond to these requests?
The police one, as long as you guys are okay with it, I'll contact the fire chief, and if it's okay.
Fire chief is sitting here.
Okay. Good with you?
Tommy
Tommy.
Gannon right here.
Right here.
Good with you?
It's fine with me.
Okay. Last correspondence is from St. Mary's Church. They want to use the township parking lot for any overflow parking for their event on September 9th,
What day of the week is that?
it's a Sunday.
I don't think we'll be here on Sunday.
It's,
Not a problem. We're not here.
All right, that's it for correspondence.
Do we have to officially accept Linda's resignation?
Don't have to.
I would suggest in
Well,
that,
isn't she an elected official? Do we have to go through the same process?
For
Yeah.
nominating? Yes.
Okay.
but I would suggest that you do appoint a successor auditor, perhaps at the next meeting, put up an advertisement or something.
Should we give people more time to respond?
Sure. You'd like, but we have to do it within 30 days
So
of the
that's a
time
good
we
question.
accept the
So
resignation.
what is the next, what's the last meeting in August? What's the-
28th.
Is that 30 days?
Well, you could wait under second-class township
We
code.
could wait till
Didn't
next
accept it.
meeting.
You could wait, well, it was the date that I was appointed to the planning commission, so that was June 3rd, I believe, or probably July 3rd. So then you either do it at this meeting, and then it would be 30 days
Now,
from
let's
this
hold on here a
meeting.
second. You're already in the planning commission and you're in their meetings. You can't be both.
I
So
just-
either we accept it
Or you would have
or you don't come to the
45
planning commission meetings.
well,
I gotta be honest with you. You can't be both. That's what it says.
I know that.
Can't have two
And this is
positions.
why I submitted my letter.
Okay.
Effective
either we
date
accept
June or July 3rd.
Well, what's the legal
It's
answer?
45
there are-
days.
There are no planning commission meetings between now and July 3rd.
No,
Or
August
so,
3rd.
none,
Exactly.
yeah.
So if we accepted it then, we could, next week.
Okay.
It's accepted then, and then can you put something up on the website? Looking for a new auditor.
And we need to make that appointment within 30 days of when we accept the resignation.
Or under second-class
Okay.
township code, what I was trying to say, it's deemed 45 days. If you don't vote on it, and the Board of Supervisors don't make a motion, you're deemed accepted after 45 days. So that would give you an extra 15 days to place an auditor. That's what I was
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to
that's
explain.
fine, but we're
It's the
gonna
same-
advertise it.
Yeah.
It's the same exact as if
Yeah.
with the supervisor would resign.
Yeah.
Or a board of, or a tax collector.
Thank you.
All right, under administrative actions, I have treasurer's report and bills to pay for July 2018. If I can have a motion for that, please.
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
Uh,
Okay. Any questions?
I just have a question, so, I think I asked you this before, but, some of these are just standard every month, it's people's salaries, and
Utility
pension
bills, payroll,
payments.
yes.
And then some of them are not, so have you got them,
What?
how are they?
There's bills that have been paid and there's unpaid bills that have to be approved for payment. There's two lists.
Okay,
The ones that have been paid are the normal utility bills, payroll.
They're paid automatically,
okay,
but we have to.
And there's also account balances and year-to-date figures as well.
okay, all right.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Public comment for agenda items. Hearing none. Solicitor?
I just have one thing I brought the resolution establishing the criteria
Okay, for the tax.
for the Lower Frederick Township volunteers to meet the certification under the local tax credit program. This has been coordinated with Tom Gammon, who's sitting here, the fire chief, as to what he thought was appropriate and I'll pass this out. Yeah, I do. Yes.
We're gonna pass this tonight. I didn't know you
Yep.
were doing this.
We had by ordinance put this into effect, but in order for it to be in effect, we need to establish the criteria for which a fireman must participate. There were conferences with Tom Gammon, the fire chief, as to what he thought was appropriate, which is the person that in the ordinance is recommended to,
Give one to Tom,
yeah, he,
Sorry.
I did, yeah.
so we can make sure everything's right.
Okay, yeah. And it was his opinion that volunteers must have completed a minimum of 2 years of active service before they're eligible. They must have participated in at least 25% of the emergency response calls for the calendar year. They must have participated in at least 50% of the fire company training, and they must have participated at least 50% in the fundraising activities, which he thought that was the minimum that was needed to qualify for the tax credit ordinance that you passed earlier this year.
Can I ask a question? Will this cover most of your many of your volunteers? Does this cover most of them?
That's what determines the active firefighter in the department.
Okay, so most of them, and
Right.
I have another question, I know this is only for our Lower Frederick taxes, but for your volunteers who are from Schwenksville, are they doing something for them?
I don't know whether they're doing anything or not.
Okay,
It's up to Schwannville Borough.
okay, thank you.
So these are the exact same criteria you're measuring elsewhere, they don't have to do dual,
In Schwannville?
no, I'm saying for the other activities for the fire company, so you don't have to keep two sets of
I don't know
records.
whether they're doing anything whatsoever.
This got a question. So the criteria, the 50%
Yes.
activity in events, and that's something you're already tracking for another purpose,
We've
so
been
this,
tracking for the last 40
so
years.
it's not
this way.
causing an undue
No.
burden on the, okay, thank you.
Like I said, this determines our active firefighters.
So this resolution is before you. I would recommend you consider it.
Today?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll make a resolution here, or somebody wants to make a resolution, I'll make a resolution for the Lower Frederick Township, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, for the resolution establishing the annual criteria for a Lower Frederick Fire Township volunteer to meet to be certified under the local tax credit program.
Second.
I'm sorry, maybe I'm being picky. Should it say Lower Frederick Township fighter? Is there a word missing in there? It just says volunteer. Should we have another word in there before
Volunteer
volunteer?
firefighter?
Yeah, volunteer. Firefighter? I think firefighter should be
Consider
in
it
there
done.
somewhere. Thank you.
We,
Yeah.
It's it's resolution number 31.
So with that additional second?
That means we're with.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
aye,
I'll get it amended, over to you.
Anything else, Tom?
No, nothing else.
Engineer?
Well, thank you. This is purely an informational report tonight. You can sit back and listen, no action required. First is about electronic plan submission. The Montgomery County Planning Commission has updated their submission procedures. Actually, they updated them in May, and they're requiring submission of electronic plans with applications to the Montgomery County Planning Commission. This is a great time for the township to update the plan submission requirements to include electronic copies and reduce the paper copies coming to the township. Obviously, electronic copies are easier to share and require less closet space in the township.
Sorry.
I don't want to eliminate all the paper copies.
That was gonna be my question, so
Yeah,
what would that mean?
You still need some paper copies, but I think we can reduce the number that come in.
You'll still need copies to send to the county, because they still are gonna want paper copies
No.
and for sign.
Not,
No,
Only
at the end,
At the end, that's what I
of
meant,
the
at the end,
process.
yes.
For the initial review,
Right.
we're gonna have to, and we've exchanged some emails about this, there need to be some initial copies. I think it's wise to have at least one copy here at the township building, so if a resident comes in and wants to see the plan, they can be enrolled. The first review, I sure like to have a paper copy for the very first review to mark up in red line. The solicitor's office may want a paper copy
Have
early in
you
the process.
forwarded to our office the requirements that you have for paper copies? Because we are revising the ordinance right now because of the recorder of deeds won't take anything else but, so we
Yeah.
need to act on it immediately.
Well, I actually say in here that change ultimately requires an update to Saldo,
Yeah.
Article 3,
Okay.
and zoning, Section 170-144,
Yeah.
and that your office is currently reviewing the ordinances to look for necessary updates, so we should be talking so
You
that it's
need to
incorporated.
send me something that shows how many paper copies.
Super,
Yes.
we'll talk with you.
All right, thank you.
And I said also, meanwhile, the application forms that the township makes available online, even before you get the ordinances amended, you could update those application forms to reflect what you really want. So I'll work with the solicitor and the manager to assist in that process. Next item is the chip sealing of township roads. Talk about information you know already. Chip sealing was completed on the township roads this month. I anticipate receiving an invoice from the contractor in the next day or two, and if so, then I'll be preparing a recommendation for payment for the next meeting.
Can I add a footnote?
Uh-huh.
We did have to activate our 911 system, our emergency call. Apparently the contractor was having some issues with the blowback from people's toilets.
Oh, that's the video inspection.
Right, okay, that was
Yeah.
video, okay, yeah.
The chip sealing, I did put in a call to the contractor. He's gonna pull the signs probably before the end of the week. In the meantime, I'm really entertained by the additions people are putting
Fish and chips?
in.
Fish and chips or sausage?
I love the creativity. Again, informational at Saks Land Development, it was also known as the Dunkin' Donuts. Those final plans were approved, and upon execution of all the agreements, those plans would be reported by the solicitor's office. Creekside at Perkiomen, construction last week was halted due to the wet weather. They're back working again. Seed and mulch was applied to the east side of the creek for stabilization. In recent days, I received electronic versions of additional plans, attempting to address the conditions of plan approval, and I'll be reviewing those in the next week or two. Update on the Sepp Road project by Marino. That fill has been placed to create the access drive in from Sepp Road, and tree cutting was underway when I went by this month. The owner and his workers have been advised by email and verbally to notify us and schedule inspection before they initiate work on or near the stormwater basin. And then finally is the video inspection of sanitary sewers, which Kevin was alluding to. The video inspection of a quadrant of sanitary sewers in Springmount was performed, it was completed. We're reviewing the findings with the contractor, which is TLC Green and Sewer, to determine the necessary repairs to address problems identified in the preliminary report. As Kevin said, there was an incident, I guess they put too much pressure on that line, and there was some spray in some of the residential toilets, and they went to each neighbor and did the cleanup as necessary, and I think they worked with the township on that. Those are all the items in this evening's report, but I'd be happy to address your questions.
Just to add to my first footnote, like I said, we did activate our code red, worked well. We have, and this is my plug for people to log in and register. There's about 2,200 people who are registered on that system. So.
Could you maybe put another notice on the website about that?
There's a place to register on the website. So I just wanted to, it works. So.
Actually, I see there are two other things on my agenda list tonight. Dow Chemical was on my original draft of the engineer's report. We had talked to somebody from Dow Chemical who was interested in test driving some paint on our recently oiled and chipped roads, but they're not ready yet, so they'll probably be talking to us early next year. As to status of easements for the sewer expansion project, I don't have any new information to share with you on that. I don't know if anybody else has anything. Okay.
What's the time frame on that, in terms of when work's supposed to start?
For the sewer?
Yeah.
It won't start until you have easements and you authorize me before the documents.
So there isn't any time you were hoping to start? I don't mean you, but I mean we were hoping to start.
Ideally, you want to bid in the winter so that you can start early in the year, that's when you get your best prices.
We still have time.
Yep.
And then on the Ragusa track, I talked to one of the neighbors down here that live, they have a house and a property right alongside the creek that flows down through there.
Mm-hmm.
He said, whatever they've done up there, they have slowed down the water.
Really?
Yes. They said that when that heavy rain come through here the other day or last week, he said that creek barely ran like it normally does.
That's super.
So that ought to put some people at ease here on it. So those basins that they're putting in must really be working.
It's huge, yeah.
They have the basins in there and they've been really,
And this guy has lived here for many, many years.
yeah, good.
He was
Thank
really
you.
surprised.
Thank you for sharing that, that's really good to know.
Under police, I don't have any update on the regional policing. I need to, I guess, make contact with the state and see where they're at with their coordination for the study. Public Works.
I only have one thing. We received a new silencer on Friday, and the guys are doing the prep work to get it in, and if everything goes right, it should be in by the end of the week.
Good.
Picked up the necessary stuff to get that done today.
Great.
And that's the last one, right?
That's the last one, yes.
And you haven't had
Well-
any complaints recently?
I haven't had any yet.
While we're on that, I know there's been some talk in the meetings about the berm. Decided anything on this berm?
On, the berm, I spoke with Tom Reynolds for his berm.
Well,
He,
okay.
he wants to go with a fence, so I got a preliminary estimate about $30 a foot to put up the particular fence he wants. But before I can get the proper amount of estimates, I gotta clear some brush and stuff, so it can be laid out and everybody can give me a bid, you know, apples for apples.
So how is a fence gonna reduce the noise?
he said rather than cut down 60 trees, pile up a bunch of dirt and then plant a bunch of new trees, might as well just use the existing trees that are there as a barrier and put the fence up. He wanted a 6-foot privacy fence.
Oh, it's a privacy fence,
Yep,
okay,
and
well,
then-
I'm in favor of not cutting down trees.
Right, and it'll save us
Yeah,
It's fine.
good.
a number of hours to do it. I don't know what it's gonna take for us to do the prep work. We're gonna go down and address it as time allows. And at that point, and it'll cost us the fence, and then, of course, we'll be doing the necessary seeding and that kind of stuff in house.
Next step is berm out
The
front.
burn out front.
Barb is concerned, and there's other residents, and the fire company's concerned about height.
The berm was not in the contract, so we have to do that in-house.
Okay.
So, right now, I am waiting for them to come in to do the finished grading and the seeding. I offered to do the woodering, so we can get them out. Once I have the contractors out and they fulfill their contract with the equipment bid, I intend to put the berm up.
So, as of right now, it isn't graded for the stake night.
As of right now, it's not. It's supposed to be, according to the phone calls I gave to the company today. They're supposed to get that cleared up for state night.
Well, the next step is we gotta do something with that berm, or figure out,
Okay.
I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, well, I'll catch up with you, we'll come
We'll
up with a
move
plan.
forward with it.
Okay,
Alright,
Is that it?
alright.
that's everything for me.
Okay. Just 2 items I have. I did receive a copy of the 2016-2017 Fire Relief Association with. If you want to see a copy, I'll make a copy.
I think we have.
I got a copy?
Yeah.
Okay. Clean, there was no findings. And appointment of new order, I guess we're gonna table that and hold off on that for a little bit. Under old business, upcoming meetings, Traffic Common Committee, August 16th, Planning Commission, August 16th. We have workshop, or I should say board meeting, our workshop is the 28th. Zoning Hearing Board is August 27th, that's for 15 3rd Avenue, for some dimensional variances.
Is that, don't we also have one for 36 Meng Road on that night? On the 27th?
No, I didn't schedule that yet,
Oh,
but I
okay.
can. I mean, that can be added to the agenda as well.
I didn't know, because there was back and
That one
forth.
just came in the other day.
Okay.
What do they want to do at 36 Main Road?
Pole
barn.
barn, yeah, constructed pole barn.
We could put it all together, so you don't have to have a second one.
What's that?
We'd have them, put them together.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, that one just came in the other day, so the agenda was already done. I handed to you a sheet of Traffic Common Committee recommendations. I don't know, Bob, you want to expand upon that, or?
Yeah, basically, we had our meetings, as you guys had suggested. We reached out to emergency services. I think that's one of the reasons why Tom's here tonight as well, so that they're all aware of the possible speed humps or tables or whatever have you. We did take a vote. We had 9 people in attendance that voted for it. We had 1 letter that was handed in to Kevin that was against it, so that's where the 9-1 vote came. And then what I did is I went and took a copy of the